I'm just saying it. She goes, Mom, stop telling me. And she goes, Mom, she goes, you have to go pee. You have to go pee. She's like mocking me. She's like, people loved her. Oh, what am I gonna do with you?
Did you?
No? But I had to keep on asking her because I'm like, you have to ask her. She was mocking me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are a little...
How old is she?
6.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she's got a lot of...
She's way.
I say little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems.
I'm taking them for vacation this year.
We might go to South Carolina.
Doug went to go
No.
see the big guy.
That was once in a lifetime.
Yesterday was in that. Actually, he's in Nashville today. Doug.
I did
Oh, Doug,
Friday
yeah,
at
yeah.
that time, I think.
Sorry, I don't.
That's all right. That's all right.
Let's see all the historical stuff and it'll be.
Oh,
Oh,
rolls are too hard.
Who made them?
Me.
You sound to me like you need more practice.
Bread or
yeah, I
a little bit of everything.
not going for it. Yeah,
They're pretty good.
I got 'em right here. I got a vote on.
Can I get that paper? $5.
January 9th.
Thank you.
I got 8 o'clock, close enough. Sign-in sheets going around. The minutes from December 12th were in your box.
Okay.
Any opposed? There's the minutes, Joe. Again, the claims are going around, so you got the claims back there. Again, a relatively light agenda, a lot of informational items. Old business, we have purchased boiler slag. Again, we've kind of been chasing some other types of material. Do the boiler slags, treatments that we do on our pavements. And thought we had a good lead. Bob and I went over to Newton Power Plant. We had seen the Newton Power Plant material before, and it was just too fine, cake, it'd get wet and cake up on you. Since the other stuff is so, it seemed the price has skyrocketed. So we went over there, and it took forever to get over there as far as the meander to this. They've got mountains of this stuff in the back. They have this fancy screen spitting out different piles of different material. We just couldn't see anything we could use, unfortunately. It's just completely different types of material. I wouldn't feel comfortable using it. So again, we're kind of back to the drawing board, or again, looking at cheaper sources. So I'll go back to our original source and see how much we can get at what price. Again, a ton of material on the road does go a long way. It does extend the life of our pavements, and I think it's well worth it. But unfortunately, it went from getting it by Christian County, by Taylorville, and getting it there for like a few bucks a ton, getting it going all the way to Pekin now and paying $40 a ton, and then another $15 a ton to
Coffee not open.
Actually, Coffee doesn't want you to use it in. I mean, they don't even let it go anymore. And what we're finding out, a lot of people with the roofing shingles is where it's tied up, and they've got it all locked up. So again, we'll kind of very unfortunate. We still have some on the ground. Bob and I were estimating 1,200 tons total in this year's budget, we increased our materials budget 50,000, and we reduced our equipment budget 50,000 to try to facilitate more pavement preservation and blacken up the roads again and restripe everything. So again, we'll try to get some more for this summer.
So 400 or 500 ton won't quite be enough to do.
No, I think we need approximately we got about 2 miles of blacktop. We probably need, you're looking at $80, 80 tons a mile, or I think it's
I don't.
1,500 to 2,000 tons to do everything. Again, we don't have to, it'd be nice if every few years to get half of it done, so it'd be nice if we had another 400 or 500 tons for this year. So I'll kind of look at our sources and see whether or not what other kind of options are, and at least pick up maybe $20,000, $30,000 worth of to see if that can get us through this year. The next thing is rock bids. Last December 14th, we opened up bids for all the aggregate for the county and the township files. If anybody wants to see the bid tabs, they're more than welcome. Again, this year we tried to tweak it a little bit. We have 4 stockpile locations on the county. In 2 of those stockpile locations, we tried to improve our rock quality, specifically cleaner and larger rock, in hopes of reducing our oiling from every 3 years to every 4 years. There's a little miscommunication. The stricter rock specifications that were placed on the 2 of the piles really jacked up the prices more than what we anticipated. Yeah.
You're welcome.
But so again, we're kind of a little bit back to the drawing boards. That we got a price to what it would get at the quarry, the CM414 at Lawrence Gravel. I think it's like $6.95 per ton. So what we might do is go make a few rounds with our own trucks and see what it's going to cost per ton to deliver it ourselves, to go pick it up and use that as filler work this winter. See how that works. Compare that to getting a quote from a local trucker to haul it. So again, usually I work with Joe quite a bit on anything like this. But it's kind of just an informational item. Is there anything? Right, questions or anything?
Are we gonna try to get the whole 1,500 ton or just 500 for an hour?
I think we'll get.
See how it goes.
See how it goes. I think what we'll do is we'll probably, there's so many different types of aggregate. Oiling and chipping is kind of the cook, the grab.
Clean stuff.
Yeah, the clean stuff. And ideally, actually, we even like the crushed gravel, where you have the angular gravel instead of the peat gravel, the round and stuff, instead of kind of throwing marbles out on the road.
Right.
It's kind of nice when you got an angular stuff. Of course, to crack that stuff costs money. Because it is hard. We like our roads are in good shape because we do use gravel and not the white stone material. And that stone, some of it just scratches off, dissolves, goes up in the air. So no, right now we're in good shape with our roads, but we want to. We're trying to just always kind of trying to tweak it and how much. If $2 more a ton for a crushed gravel, a good hard gravel. And sometimes that stuff will actually go a little further as well, as opposed to putting all the marbles on. You got to put a little extra on there just to make sure you cover it. Again, Bob, you can chime in anytime.
Yeah, we've experimented last year between us and Douglas Township a lot. And where we're watching it, we actually experimented enough as to pounds per square yard on the rock, how much oil we put on, and we've got test stations where we're working at and checking it out. Crushed gravel works really well, but it's very abrasive and it's very expensive. And so we're trying to see where that works. Actually, Douglas has put it up on some of the hills this winter. see about, you know, traction and stuff on the hills in the winter time, just to post the ground rock. So we're trying, like I said, we're trying a little bit of everything and trying to improve the qualities and stuff. But, the clean rock does make a big difference when you're oiling. In fact, we used some dirtier rock last year, and we were putting down about a pound to a pound and a half per square yard more rock. And it don't seem like much until you start counting how many square yards we oil. It really adds up. So you
Well, then the
can,
rock kind of grabs the fine little crap and doesn't, instead of grabbing the rock, what you want it to grab, so it kind of defeats the purpose.
You said it's abrasive to your equipment or to the?
yeah, a little bit of
Traffic
everything.
or whatever.
It's abrasive to our equipment because of the sharp corners and the angles and stuff. It's a little bit harder on stuff. We use it through our patcher, the cracked rock. The biggest reason we do that though is it stays so much better. I mean, when we do a patch, you know, it's all handwork and stuff like that, so you don't want to go back and have to do it time and time again. That rock really, really works well for that, and it is so clean. I mean, there is absolutely no fines in that cracked rock.
And we get that out of Lawrence, right?
We get that out of Lawrence. Yes. And the difference is, and they tell you, and I can't prove it, but they tell you the bigger rock is actually a harder rock than the smaller stuff. So when they crack it, we're getting a harder material to start with. So,
But we keep on trying to tweak and whatnot. Next thing on the agenda, old business, pumping station road jog. You know, it's been relatively dry. You know, we've been fortunate. We actually had graders in the ditches the week before Christmas at that location, and we were able to clean out the ditches, add a little shoulders to the road. We did purchase the additional easement over there last month. So right now, I think it looks pretty good. I think we are going, I did talk to Bob about, and we all agree, we've got a little bump on that intersection as people glide through there and try to make a turn at the same time. So we are going to grind that off with our stinger teeth this winter. So that'll help with that. And then we said we'll put the finishing touches on it next spring, summer, kind of get a better alignment through there. How we want to put it. So I think, I've not been on it, I know you do.
It's gonna be pretty good.
It'll help. I think the neighbors like it over there. They will like it. There was that one bad accident
Maybe
18 years ago.
2 or 3 vehicles in a ditch every year.
Yeah. That's just kind of a follow-up item. New business, first thing is 2018 equipment needs. It's the time of year that we kind of just start scratching our head. Again, I did jack up our materials budget, and kind of robbed Peter to pay Paul, and I stole it from our equipment budget. This past year, we did get a truck, another tandem truck. I do have our equipment inventory. If anybody wants to see all of our equipment, everything from a chainsaw to a motor grader.
And that truck was to replace a problem child that we had.
That truck, yeah.
yes,
Joe's truck.
Joe's truck,
Yeah,
yeah.
problem.
Half the claims was truck number 5.
Well, right now, I think our next truck is probably, we still have a 1997 dump truck out there. So we are looking at doing that, maybe not, if not, not this year, but maybe the next year. I think in 2019, we'll kind of look at our motor grader situation versus swapping that one old truck out yet. So we do have 6 tandems.
Is one of them still out of the airport, right?
That's the one out at the airport right now. We
That's the
just
one
brought
at
that
the
out.
airport.
But it's
That's the
all,
one we use the patcher, and then he gets in the winter time and then we tear something up, and then we have to go steal it.
But it's still looking good.
The bed above the rest off of it.
No.
Yeah.
but that's just kind of for future discussion. This year, we went ahead and already purchased the bush hog. We got quotes on that.
We got a pretty good bid on that too.
Yeah.
Like quoting it early. 6,500, I think, was it with the trailer?
So we put the order in. We haven't received it yet, but again, again, looking at that, and then probably swapping out one of our pickup trucks. I think our last pickup truck that we get rid of would be a 2007 Chevy. It's got about 215,000 miles on it. We'd probably give the new one, get a four-wheel drive, and get over to Mark's truck down the woods. So that would probably be like $25,000-$30,000 pickup. Obviously, we're looking at the state purchase program. And then the other thing we're looking at is maybe looking at swapping out or upgrading our patcher. That was patcher here is it's a 2005 patcher. It's been a good unit. It's probably has about 13,000 hours on it. But that's something we're looking at, and that's why I just brought it up for the committee meeting as to what we're kind of chewing on. So, again, sometimes you don't really look at this stuff. It was 55,000 when we bought it originally, and they're probably up around 60, 70 now.
They really haven't gone up much in price. They're, I think last time I looked at them, like 57, something like that.
So that would pretty much fill up our equipment budget for the year. So,
I have noticed there's been some claims on there for a patcher here lately. Same way with check marks.
yeah.
Well, the chip box, that's an annual thing.
It is?
Yeah, we go through it with a fine tooth comb, because when it breaks down, everybody's down. So we take it, we pull it, and all the rollers and all the stuff that's underneath there. We go through all of it, and change them out. If they're even starting to get where they're not rolling, we take them out, and replace them. So, yeah, that's.
You don't have much problem while you're rolling.
We don't have any trouble when we're on it. That's the whole idea, yeah. Because, we gotta figure it out, the labor and stuff that we run is $1,000 an hour when we're running that, so it's cheaper to work on it in the shop than it is to be broke down for a couple, 3 hours at a time. And that's just the labor, that's not the equipment and, materials and stuff that we're standing there helping, not moving with.
But again, that's something we'll, obviously, before we, just want to kind of plant the seed with the committee right now, and no decisions planning on being made now, but that's kind of a direction. We'll have more to come in following months, once we actually get some numbers or quotes, or what the state bids are, different things. So, next item, status of maintenance, Bob.
We've been playing with the weather a little bit. We was out over the last couple of weekends dealing with the stuff. Fortunately, it's not been real bad. We got 5 last weekend without too much ice. Little slick roads in the morning once in a while, but nothing too serious. Had Effingham asphalt work on the log jam there on the river in Baldwinsville. I think we got it cut up small enough now that it's going to go. It's been kind of a thorn in our side for the last couple of years. And then we've been servicing equipment. Like I say, we work on the patcher. We work on the stuff in the wintertime, get things to do, especially when she's cold. Worked on the inventory some. And we've been cutting a little bit of brush when the weather's halfway permitting. And now it's too slick and stuff with the frost on the top, or frost coming out the top and then frozen ground. It's kind of slick out there, so we're trying to go find something else to do.
We've already talked about what's coming down the pike in a couple of days, as far as, things are a little different when the ground's frozen. Things get a little funnier. So we've been extra cautious. I'm glad, obviously, was it Sunday evening or early afternoon, had the guys out just to touch things up, and then on Christmas Eve, we had the guys out just making sure, just touching a few things up. But, we're kind of understaffed just a tick, and we got a couple relatively newbies, so, You know, I'm kind of always worried about that. If we get, it'd be nice to have a practice snow. But
might get that
this,
Thursday or
I
Friday.
think we might. I think it's starting Thursday night, and wind is going to come out of the north pretty good, I think, for and then end Saturday morning, so we'll know more in a couple days, obviously. We'll do what we can.
Yeah, yeah. Just have it. And
Little
I-
subdivision there.
Yeah.
So no, that's where we're at with that, and I think guys, obviously, before the holidays, the guys were out trees, brush, cleaning all that stuff up. Yeah, so it was a good time for that.
That's always something to do in the winter time.
Yeah, status of projects. Again, we're kind of more into the design stuff. I did submit a bid federal program last month. Nothing really changing. Kind of on the horizon is the called Shumway Cove on Lake Sarah Bridge on Fox Road. That bridge there, that's our only posted bridge on the county system. And it's got some exterior beams we've been kind of keeping an eye on. But our problem is we had the pipeline only about this far off the bridge deck, and wasn't comfortable with it. We actually went to a bid, but but now that we found the old thing and that the old easement or the old permit from the pipeline company, they have to move it now at their own cost. They never shared that with us last time, so. Yeah, so, which is a huge expense, and I mean, when you're talking about that big a pipeline running right over Lake Sarah, that's pretty, you want to make sure that we got our butts covered on that, so that's gonna be resurrected. But we got several it's gonna be a busy year for us, which is good. Miscellaneous, the Mecklenburg trial is scheduled for January 16th, to start the day after Martin Luther King Day, I think. So right now, we have to be prepping for that. I just printed out the depositions, this morning. Those depositions are probably 2-3 years old. I know myself, Bob, and Dave Bushu all were deposed on that, so, I feel that is what it is. The county's, I feel comfortable with the county's position that we went above and beyond the standards there on traffic control. So that will be, if it does make it to trial, that'll be an interesting exercise, or it'll be educational for all of us.
Here.
Yeah,
Say we're a trial here.
right here. I think that's, I believe so. I think that's, but if everything's in the hands of the insurance company at this point. But that is something that's happening this month, maybe. Other than that, does anybody have anything else from miscellaneous? Again, it's kind of a light month on the meeting schedule. Just informational item. We don't have anything on the county board agenda for next week. So, thanks for making it. If there's anything.
Thanks for breakfast.
Yeah, thank you very
And Karen
much.
too, she did it ready.
The bread was good.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. What you got, building and grounds?
Just a couple of things, one about security.
On the north side of that. Alf Newbergy set me up with that. That was Newbergy property. Had 18 acres out there.
Nice house.
Well, I went through a divorce. And I just signed on the dotted line and gave it away.
That usually happens. Okay.
I don't have any left.
Building and grounds meeting, that motion to approve minutes.
I so moved.
I'll second. Unfinished business, update on the CASA office remodel. Jeff, you went and looked at it. I looked at it a little bit ago. Chief, are you happy with what's going on there?
Yeah.
They got they're Need to sand one wall yet and paint it and put a door in, and I think that's about it. And the door might be a while.
It looks good though.
Yeah, they did a good job. Yeah,
They're getting a different door?
they're getting a different,
That's why it's big.
yeah,
Okay.
for the door, but they got to sand one wall and then paint it a nice brown color. And then the door, and then it's done, but they did a good job on it, so. Costa's happy with it.
It wasn't a lot of work either, really. I mean, it was an easy move.
Yeah, I think that door frame was there.
Wasn't hardly any work for me.
I'd say there was a door there, but I assume they took the door frame out when they closed it in.
I know there was, yeah, there was a door there, so it wasn't hard to probably.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, I assume they took the frame out because it don't stick out.
So Casa's happy with it, they're thrilled, so. Update on the upgrade for software on security system, it sounds like we had a few issues, I guess, in the last week or so, 2 weeks.
I want to talk about that, just so you know. This security system enables the COs to open some doors and to monitor all the courts building on cameras, is what this system is. It's a system that was installed, just for background, it's a system that was installed when the courthouse was built, and it runs on XP. And XP is outdated, and there's no updates or support left for it. So we knew this going into last budget year. So we set the money aside in the budget, the $9,000 we approximated it would cost to upgrade it. And to upgrade it, that buys new software and new computers. And Jason, that bid originally was like $16,000, but Jason worked with it, picked out of it what work he could do himself, so he really helped us out a lot there on that. So we put that in a budget. As soon as the budget year rolled around here, we ordered it, started the process. But since then, one of those computers has went down, quit. It was the one in the jail. So what we did is we took the computer out of my office that allows me to keep track of the cards and make cards and delete cards. We took my computer out of my office, moved it into the jail. So we're back to running. But I'm scared to death because now there is no backup. And what you might hear is from office holders because I can't make cards right now. The cards are like the key fobs that all the employees have.
Okay, yeah.
I can't make new ones, and I can't manipulate old ones. So what I did before we shut mine down is I made some spares, and I've already used some of them. But anyway, I'm just nervous about it.
Can't you go in the jail and do it there?
No. Well, we were able to do it once, but there's no way I could do it. I tried to do it. There's no way I can do it without Jason's help, and it's a lengthy process, and it scared me. Because I was afraid I'd have that one monkeyed up to where I could never do it again.
Are you getting a replacement then?
Yep. He ordered computers right away, but it's probably a 6 to 8 week turnaround time. So they're on the way. I'm just, sort of hanging on until we get those new computers in. It's a priority. We get them in and get them installed. And then I'm sure there'll be some bugs to work out, but we'll forget all about it.
So
That's
this is
where
just
we're
an
at.
FYI.
Yes. I
Okay.
don't need any action.
Okay.
Because we already took the action to put the money in the budget and get this system upgraded and back online. But thank goodness, because now we're in a pickle with it.
It'll take care of everything then. after you get
If we
it.
can just get the new stuff in, get it installed, then I won't be nervous anymore.
Will you have a backup then?
Well, we'll have 2 computers that run it.
It's just on the software update, I mean, you can't
It's
just.
software and
Printer.
computers.
Yeah.
Because, those old XP computers, they're outdated and they're, 20 years old.
But I mean, the software to make the badges, does it run on XP or is it?
It did, it does now. Yes, it all runs on XP. And now, of course, it runs on, I'm not sure, Windows 10 or something newer.
it is, they have kept up so you can put on new computers. That's what I'm concerned about.
Yes, yes, we're getting the software updates and the new computers, because our old system wasn't supported at all anymore. We didn't have anybody to call. And Jason could keep it, has kept it working for a long time, but it's way past its useful life. But anyway, we've already made all those decisions, and thank goodness we did, because now we're, you know, trying to get by till our new ones come in.
It was good that you looked ahead, and that's
Well,
one of
I'm
the things that
thinking-
actually turned out good. There's no more we could do.
Yeah, there's no more we can do with it, but I probably let it go too long. It probably should have been done earlier, but I just,
Well, hindsight's always better than foresight.
yeah, and well, you know, money's always so tight.
Right.
This is probably something that should have been done earlier. But we're gonna make it, it's just if you hear anything from office heads, that's what's going on.
So you think another month or a little more, month and a half probably?
Jason's gonna give him another week and then start calling and checking on progress.
How often do you have to change the cards and stuff like that? I mean, is it something?
Anytime there's a new employee, they have to have a new card, or someone leaves, then you have to cancel their card. Once in a great while, someone will lose one, and we'll have to go in and cancel their old one and make them a new one. But it's probably, a couple times, once or twice a month.
Really?
But there's a lot of employees over there, there's a lot of people.
Every employee has one?
Yes.
Well, you got 80 some, or am I?
This is all the people over, well, it's all the people over in the courts building, which is the circuit clerk, state's attorney, public defender, probation. And then, of course, our jail staff and the people that work over there all have them too.
It's close to 80.
I'd say there's, I should have that figure, but there's a lot more than 80. All the employees over there and then the sheriff's office employees.
That's okay.
Well, at least that's some good news that we kind of got ahead of it a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, it's coming, the fix is coming, it's just not there yet.
Okay. Anything else with that, chief, or?
Not with that, no.
Is new business, is there, I don't have anything, is there anything on new business?
Nothing that requires any action, but, you know, we're losing cast iron drain pipes in the basement, and I can't for the life of me figure it out. Tony doesn't know either. But they've been there for 20-some years. They're not under pressure, they're drain pipes. They're steel and they're cracking. And Tony says that they can replace them, and they do replace them as they break, and it doesn't require any, he doesn't believe it requires like a full remodel, that we have to tear them all out and put new ones in. But it's just, I've never heard of this before. We've had 2 or 3 of them go here in the last few weeks, and they just crack from end to end.
The building be shifting a little bit or something? I mean, how else would it?
I don't know. They're
You're
not
talking,
subject to freeze. I mean, they're in the basement.
you're talking about drains from the first floor, not floor drains in the basement.
Concrete.
Drains from above that are coming down to the basement to get routed to wherever. Jail
And
drains.
they run across the ceiling of the basement, I guess?
Mhm. They're just cracking open.
Huh. Never heard of that.
I hadn't either, but that's just one of the things. He says they'll fix it. You know, they fix them as they break. It's just, that's not a big budget item. The fuel tanks you were asking about,
Yeah.
that one that lies within that block well, you know, it's walled all the way around it real tight. He had the guy check it again when he filled it, and he said, you know, he thinks it'll last yet. There's no reason to take action on it, but we can't get around it and paint it. And our other diesel generator tank is actually integral with the generator. It's part of the generator. So it's not a tank we can paint. So there's not much, you know, to do there.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think things are going okay, other than, and I need to research, I need to understand this better, but you know, we got hurt last year on buildings and grounds because our utilities went up so much. Or I shouldn't say went up, our utilities were about $10,000 more. And I'm not sure why. So that, I may have I didn't really catch that until after the budget was submitted. I'm a little concerned about that. If it was just a year that we used so much more cooling or energy because of the weather, or what? But
You didn't go back from month to month to see when it was
no, I
posted.
really don't know whether the overall bill was about $10,000 more than usual. And we cut that buildings and ground budget so close that I'm a little concerned. That may be my fault. If we come out 10,000 short because of utilities, I should have known that.
That's hammering, so you can't tell if it's electric or gas.
I think we can.
But you have to research it, you have to
Yeah, I
get
have to
the
look.
bill out.
Yeah, and that'll take some help from some other people, but I guess my point is even if I understand it, the budget's already set.
Well, you need to keep it heated and cooled so you can use it.
Yeah, just something for the back of your minds, I may have misjudged our utilities.
Last year, there was a mild winter too, but this,
Yeah,
we've had some cold weather already.
yeah, yeah, and I know what that does to my bills in my house. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's one of the things, I may have not done a good job on that, we'll have to see how that progresses.
Anything else, general information? Nope.
If not, I move that we adjourn.
I'll second. Meeting is closed.